Kendra Horn, Executive Director, Women Lead Oklahoma. And in 2015, Sarah Jane Rose and I were having a lot of meetings with women. We were working on recruiting women to run for another organization, and just continue to have the experience of talking to a lot of people who said they wanted to make a difference, they wanted to do something in their communities. They felt disengaged, they didn't feel like they had enough information, or they just didn't feel like they could make a difference. And we started talking about that and the need to bring women together so they could learn and so they could connect and take action and affect change in their communities. You know, I think some of the biggest challenges that we face is apathy, honestly, and disconnection. It's really easy to get in our own little comfortable ruts. It's really easy to be told over and over again that one person can't affect much change, but at the same time, it's not true. So I think those are the biggest changes, just talking to people, getting them out of their bubbles, getting them out of their shells, and getting them to connect. I think that women, by and large, work together a lot more. You see this in a lot of different places, whether it's in businesses where more and more studies are showing when you've got more women involved, profits are better, businesses are more successful. When you get at least 20% of women on boards, the companies do better. Same thing is true in elected office. Women are more likely to work together. They're more likely to work across the aisle to solve the issues at hand and find places of compromise. It's only in perception and these ideas that get perpetuated that that's not the case. Women are in fact more likely to work together and more likely to get more done. I think confidence is a large part of it. I also think that, so I think confidence, I think the messages we get that have us sort of encouraging women to cut other women down, whether it's for what they wear or how they speak or how they behave or putting them into narrow categories. I think it's a combination of things, and I've seen so many amazing things with women supporting each other, lifting each other up, and making incredible change, but it is us receiving the messages from our families, from media, from other people that affects our confidence and the way we perceive ourselves and the way that other people perceive us. It's the messages we get about the narrow ways that we have to behave to be accepted, to be heard. It is both very obvious and it can be very subtle some ways. We are told that we have to present ourselves acceptably. We're told that we have to be assertive but not too assertive, and we get pushed into these very narrow fields, and I think that takes a lot of different forms. And we also get told, oh, wait your turn. Those sorts of things, they're just come in so many packages, and they just sort of chip away at our confidence. They chip away at our ideas of what we can do. Yeah, one of the great examples of this is in the workplace, where studies show that women will apply for jobs only if they consider themselves 90% or more qualified for that job, whereas men will apply for positions they consider themselves only maybe 50% qualified for. So there's so many ways, and what we're doing through Women Lead is creating this idea of learn, connect, and act. We are creating a foundational knowledge, we're bringing individuals together and then encouraging them to take action from that place so they can create change. I don't describe myself as an activist, and there's a reason for that. So my background is varied. I started off as an attorney. I've worked on Capitol Hill. I've worked for nonprofits. I've worked for startups. But the reason I don't describe myself as an activist is because I think there's a difference between advocates and activists, and there's nothing wrong with activists. But I believe that in order to affect long-lasting change, in order to get people out of whatever bubble they're in, we have to understand the systems that we're operating in and then we can actively affect change within them. So when you're able to understand the system, begin to work within it to change it, I think that is advocacy at its finest. Activism can sometimes be moving from the outside, but what our goal is with Women Lead is to create a community of engaged, informed, strong women leaders who understand the systems, who understand what's happening, and then can start to use that to affect change in the civic arena, in their own personal lives and their businesses, but to understand the systems and to use that knowledge to work within them and then change them. I feel very fortunate that I've had so many amazing, strong women and role models throughout my entire life. I was raised by amazing, strong women who looked at me and said, if you want to do it, go do it. Who didn't call me bossy for being loud and opinionated as a child, who encouraged that and said, explore, and encouraged me to step outside of what kids do, and really always told me that if something is important, you can make a difference. My mom, my grandmothers, my great-grandmother, they were my first examples of if something right in your community. I remember being really little and my mom fighting against something that was happening in my hometown and working so hard. We went to parades, we had people signing petitions and things like that, and making change right in my own backyard that showed me from the very beginning. And since then, I just am continually inspired by women of all ages, of all different backgrounds, following their passion and making a difference. Yeah, but it takes a lot of different forms, It's what they're going to put in the water in your hometown, or it's, how they structure a school bond issue, or, whatever is important to you. So, I started getting involved in learning, the importance of making your voice heard and volunteering in the civic process and the political process when I was, in junior high. It had always been something that I knew was important because my parents always told me, you've got to vote, you've got to make sure that your voice is being heard. But, I was able to volunteer. They encouraged me to do that and to see that it is not some unattainable thing, and that this demonization of getting involved on a civic level is really what's eroding the people that want to serve and be public servants. And what we need so much right now are public servants, because what is easy to forget is these systems are our systems. They're there for us, to benefit us. They touch us every single day. And when we don't pay attention to them, it's like having a house that you just don't invest in and you're letting crumble down around you. You take care of it for you, but also for your kids or the next generation, the people around you. There is a value in serving. And that was the one lesson that my family always told me. There was value in service. It's not all about me, because we don't always have to do things for me. If I'm only looking out for myself, what about all of the other people in my community? And that's one of the most important things that I was always told. It is an ongoing process, and it's something that I talk to people about all the time, because I think that we teach what we most need to learn. And that is one of the challenges I think that women often face. A lot of us tend to want to give, whether it's to our families or to the causes that we believe in or to our jobs. We give and we give and we give, and we don't ask for credit. We don't always demand recognition until we are depleted. So when I'm feeling depleted, or when I'm starting to notice that, I have to remember to give back to myself. And it's that whole oxygen mask thing, right? We can only take care of others as much as we take care of ourselves. So it's an ongoing practice with me. I'm not always good at it, but at least I recognize when I'm not. I like to get outside. I like to do things like hike or, sit outside on a patio and enjoy time. I love yoga. I find that yoga and meditation are things that help keep me really grounded. And then reading and time with friends. And when I can get it, traveling. That's at the very top of my list, is to get away and travel and do things that are really fun. I don't know. I think my vision over the next few years, somebody asked me recently what I see in the next few years, is expanding more deeply into Oklahoma. Right now we are involved in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Norman, and I would really like to see it move throughout the communities. I'd really like to see more and more women connecting and supporting each other and holding each other up, and I'd really like to see our groups grow and diversify in terms of age, educational background, race, ethnicity, all of those things, because we are stronger when we learn from each other. I call myself a practical idealist because I never stop seeing what is possible, but to deal with what's right in front of you. So incremental progress is important, and it is progress, and it is the one thing that really changes, and to stay involved. So always hold a vision of what's possible and work with what's right in front of you.